Greetings guys, gals and non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I hope that you are well and I hope that you are fighting, because there is a lot to be fighting for. As usual, there'll be a link in the description to the page on my website with a bunch of petitions, donations, emails to send to MPs, etc, etc. A few videos back, I posted with no makeup and wearing my glasses, and I got so many comments saying that the only time I ever do that is when it's like a serious, like, ranty video, like a big oof yelling at someone video, and I didn't realize that was a thing that I did, and I thought it was so funny. But today it is not like that. Today is another Reddit video. I'm going through r/selfawarewolves, which is just a time, really. It's so wild to me that so many people can stare a point directly in the face and somehow still not see it. And it's very amusing. So we're gonna go through and look at some of those and talk about some of those. Yeah, but the reason I'm not wearing makeup today and I have my glasses on is just because I'm tired and I didn't have the energy to do my makeup because I'm a bit exhausted. Life is a bit exhausting at the moment. Having lockdown sort of easing is really scary and really stressful, and I think this is a situation a lot of people are in and might feel very invalidated by at the moment, is that we've been forced inside for a really, really long time, and we've gotten so accustomed to it. It's been so normal, and like, I have seen no one other than Kat for months now. We have not left our flat, really. We haven't left the area where we live at all. We haven't interacted with any other people, and so the idea of going out and doing something else has gone from being something that we wish for and hope for to now being something that is really, really scary. I was introverted before. I struggle with social anxiety, and so does she, and so that has gotten so much worse. Getting out of lockdown was something we were really looking forward to, but it got to a point where it has gone on for so long that it is now something that we fear. And so I've been dealing with a lot of emotions around that and trying to get through that. Life is really exhausting, really draining at the moment, and so I just did not have the energy to do my makeup. I didn't need to justify that. It doesn't matter. I know that it doesn't matter, but I kind of just wanted to talk about mental health a little bit, and that felt like a good reason to do it. A good sort of segue into just validating you and letting you know that if coming out of lockdown is scary for you, you aren't alone. That's okay. You can take your time with going back to normal living. Do what makes you happy and what makes you comfortable, and just take your time and don't let the pressure of anyone else sort of affect you in that. So with all of that being said, let's get into today's video, shall we? Never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups. Trump, make America great again. This one speaks for itself. Like I said before, it's like right there. It's right there. And they somehow just don't see it. And it's so funny. They're just calling themselves out. That's why it's called self-aware wolves, I guess. But like, they know, but they have no idea. And it's so funny. Employers favor men, not because they're prejudiced against women, but because they have the perception that men perform better on average at certain tasks. You're literally describing prejudice against women. It's not that I don't think women are as good as men. It's just that I think men are better. It's not that I think every single man is better than every single woman. It's just that I think every single woman is worse than every single man. But like, I'm not prejudiced. I don't have a bias. So it's fine. I will hire men because I like men better, but I'm not prejudiced. If you have 12 bad cops and 1,300 good cops, but those 1,300 good cops don't turn in the 12 bad cops, you have 1,312 bad cops. If you have 12 doctors that malpractice and 1,300 good doctors, but those 1,300 good doctors don't have the 12 bad doctors, you have 1,312 bad doctors. You could literally use this for any profession. They stare the point directly in the face and still miss it, and it's mind-blowing. It's really, truly mind-blowing. It's almost a talent to be this ignorant, right? Like, to have the point so clearly in front of you to the point where you say the point. Like, you comprehend, you say the point, and you still manage to not understand it. Like, he literally just said the answer and somehow thought that it was an argument. And how do you do that? a talent. It truly is a talent to be that ignorant. Men, I'm not homophobic. I just don't want a random guy hitting on me. Women everywhere. The fuck? Exactly. Men do understand. They do. They really do. Clearly, they do. They hate when gay men hit on them. It's creepy. It's weird. They hate it. Why would you do that? I'm obviously a straight man. But they aren't willing to accept that it's the same thing when they do it to women, because that means accepting that they're in the wrong. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. But it's different because, like, women are attracted to men. Firstly, not always. Secondly, just because you're attracted to men doesn't mean you're attracted to all men. This is the only instance where not all men is allowed to be used. It's being attracted to men doesn't mean being attracted to every single man. Obviously, you can't play, well, yeah, but you like men. Not you, though. No, if you're a random man who's approaching me on the street, I have absolutely zero interest every single time. So, no. If you don't like random men coming up to you and hitting on you, that's exactly how women feel. It's uncomfortable. It's weird. Just keep it to yourself. Don't assume we're attracted to you, because we're not. So, women dismissing stories of assault with, if that's assault, then everyone I know has been assaulted, are so close to getting the point. Yeah, exactly. It's unfortunately a really sad and awful coping mechanism that has been drilled into us our whole lives, right? Admitting assault for what it is scary, because, like the post says, if you admit that assault is what it is, it's admitting that almost all women have been assaulted, and a lot of the time it means admitting and accepting that you have been assaulted, and that is a really, really difficult thing to accept. It's easier to pretend that it didn't happen than to acknowledge that it has. So if you internally change the definition of assault, then you are able to ignore the fact that you have been violated. Although it may leave you scarred and hurt and can be obviously very invalidating, that is a coping mechanism that works for a lot of people. I have been assaulted. I was in an abusive relationship, and I still will not acknowledge the abuse that I went through as what it was, because it's traumatic to think about and to internalize and to use specific languages, because admitting that it happened is really scary and it's really painful and difficult. So you just kind of downplay it in order to carry on with your life normally and act as though it didn't happen. And unfortunately that leads to invalidating not only your own experiences, but invalidating other women's experiences, and also it normalizes the behavior and doesn't hold men accountable. And it comes from a place of internalized misogyny, obviously, and then on the other side it comes from just standard misogyny. And this whole way of downplaying assault is misogyny from every angle, but it's misogyny coming from a different place and for a different reason. And I think that it's really, really important to start learning about this when we're young. Like, we learn about consent as children, but not really. I remember in high school learning about, like, staying safe online, and it was very heavily around, like, sending nudes was very much like, don't send nudes because they might get leaked. It wasn't, don't leak nudes. And so that comes down to enforcing, particularly in young women, because it was directed at mostly women, that if you send a naked photo, it might get leaked. That is a risk that you are taking. That is something that is normal. That is something that will probably happen. And by telling girls that their nude photos might get leaked, and so they shouldn't send them, you're also teaching boys that it's normal to leak those photos. It's normal to send them. It's not, if you send these photos, it's an agreement between the two of you that it stays between the two of you. You can't share those with anyone else. That's what should be taught. And unfortunately, it's not. And that at a very young age is starting and enforcing victim blaming. It's starting and enforcing misogyny and normalizing taking advantage of particularly women and having them invalidate their experiences and tell themselves that it's normal, while boys and men are also saying that it's normal to take advantage of women and that it is women's faults. You know? It stops people from seeing it as a problem, and it leaves people invalidating, again, themselves and other people's experiences. And it's this big cycle, and it obviously works with so many different scenarios. It's the same thing as like, don't wear this because it increases your chances of getting assaulted, in which case that validates the people who are assaulting people wearing those clothes because they know they can get away with it by saying, well, she was asking for it, because they're taught that wearing that is asking for it. You know what I mean? It's a big, awful, messy cycle. So many people dismiss other people's struggles because we're taught from such a young age that it's our fault. Anyway, that was a really long, but it's something that is really, really awful, and it is really close to home for me and for so many. Like 97% of women have been harassed or assaulted. That's awful. It's terrifying, and it's just so terrible, and so many people invalidate their own and other people's struggles, and we really need to change our language and the way we talk about it. And so I just wanted to put all of that out there. Lol, always count on the idiot lefties to ask for advice. The fact you wrote this unironically, I love when the right like openly admit to just spouting absolute bull. They have no base to any of their facts. They have no base to anything they say. They just talk and say that they're right for no reason. You ask them to prove it and they're like, no, because all evidence supports the left. Exactly. Facts over feelings, right? Facts over feelings. And you're straight up admitting that you don't have any facts other than what your parents and peers have told you. Did they give you any reason to believe them other than that's what they think? Because what other people think isn't a fact. It's funny because you see a lot of like conservatives saying that they're straying from the norm, and that they're straying from the norm, and they're saying different things, and they're different because they're conservative. And I think that it's really funny because the reason that more and more people are on the left and more people are leaning left than they used to be is because more and more people are questioning things. Conservatism is the norm. That is a majority of people. Like, all political leaders are conservative. Both liberals and conservative leaders are conservative, just to different levels. So people are questioning that and figuring shit out and straying from that and learning. You're more likely to become left-wing than you are to become a conservative. It's much more rare for someone to go from left to right than it is from right to left, because going from right to left is people starting to question things and seeing more openly and learning things. That's why so many conservatives hate university and hate the education system, because they're like, they're teaching liberal ideologies. No, well, yeah, they're teaching facts. So, yeah, I guess you're right. You're playing Monopoly. After every trip around the board, you pass go. If you're the leader, you must give one piece of property to the player with the least property. Same goes for houses, hotels, etc. Instead of collecting $200, you pay income tax of 35% to be split between the other players. Soon, no one is buying property, houses, or hotels. Eventually, everyone quits trying and just waits for their handout when someone else passes go. Ignoring the fact this person is saying life is a game, which it's not, I don't understand why people think it's so bad. I don't understand what the problem is with sharing if you have more. If I had 5 properties and someone else had none, what difference is it going to make to me to give them one of my properties? I'm not utilizing 5 properties at one time. Those 5 properties may be generating an income for me, but why do I need 5 properties worth of income if this other person has none? I don't. You don't need that much. I understand that it's like well, people work hard for their money. They deserve more. Okay, fine. They can work hard and they can have more, but why does it have to be that much more? There are so many people who have more money than they could ever spend. They have more than they could ever spend in like 100 lifetimes. So why can't they give a percentage of that to other people who have nothing? What is them having more going to do? If you just stopped billionaires, 100 millionaires from earning for the rest of their lives, they would still be fine. You could take all of their money and give it to other people and they wouldn't notice. It would make absolutely no difference to them and their lives. Absolutely none. and yet they want to keep accumulating money and buying things so that other people can't, and just getting more. And for what? For what? What purpose does that possibly serve? There is enough space and housing for everyone, and yet it's not being utilized. There is more than enough space. There's more than enough built houses for everyone, and they're just empty. Because why? Because what? If I have so much more than someone else, why wouldn't I give it to them if I don't need it to continue living a good life? Just like, what the fuck, man? I just don't understand how you can be so selfish and so greedy. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. People just like to have more, and it's a big, stupid power game that just kills people. I made a whole video about capitalism last week, but... Anyway. I already went off about this in my last video. I don't need to do it again right now. If you want to watch me talk about capitalism for 25 minutes, go watch that video. Anyway, I think I'm gonna leave it there because, as you can tell, I'm getting a little bit heated, and I have to do my uni work, so I can't be using all of my energy here. A massive thank you to my Kiwi Fruit and Kiwi Bird channel members whose names are up on the screen right now. And a big thank you to my channel member of the day, Jungin Stole My Wig. I love and appreciate you so, so much. Thank you so much for joining. Here is a picture of Uggy Bung himself to say thank you. If you would like to join, press the top link in the description or the little blue join button. You get my videos a day early, as well as 10% off my shop at thequeerkiwi.com/shop. And if you're a Kiwi Bird member, you also get little bonus clips that don't make it into my main video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, thequeerkiwi, and Twitter, thatqueerkiwi. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.
When you close your eyes, you replace